Hey, so welcome to the video. If you are a first-time viewer, just make sure that you stay tuned for the whole video. We trying to run the numbers up. We trying to get the numbers right. I'm just a normal guy, dad, lawn care enthusiast, and I've recently bought this thing about 2 months ago. And if you realize you see these things and they're big, but when you first get them, you might be intimidated, but it's nothing to be intimidated about. One of the things that you will notice about a real mower is it's a little bit different from your rotary mower. It's supposed to give you more of a clean cut. And if you are new to this thing, then what you want to do is you want to ensure that this thing stays sharp. And to check if it is sharp, I'm gonna bring you down here and you're gonna need some grit. A lot of people say don't use 120. I thought out when I first bought these, I had 80 and 120. Obviously I didn't, I just have two things at 80. The more the merrier, hey, whatever. But what you're gonna do is they got two bolts here. Let me bring you over here so you can see. They have two of these things here, and this is for your Toro Flex 21. I'm pretty sure the other ones will be a little bit different. What you are gonna do is you're gonna find a way to get in here and you're just gonna loosen up your bed to real knife contact. And you're gonna loosen up each side, boom. Just one notch. And look, boom, one notch. And what that does is that makes, if you are not aware what a red build, my goodness, real to bed knife contact is, because I wasn't, so I'm gonna explain it to you, break it down for you a little bit. This is your bed knife and this is your reel. What happens is when these two make contact with one another, if your bed knife or your reel is sharp, what will happen is you will have a cut, right? And you will cut all the way across. And if you do not cut all the way across, then you know that you have an issue. So that's actually where I needed to be. But yeah, I was actually too tight. My bed to real knife contact was actually a little too tight. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna loosen it one more notch. And the reason why is because your goal is not to be making a whole bunch of contact with your reel to bed knife, because you're gonna be backlapping, right? And you don't want it to make a whole bunch of contact and wear down your reel. What you want to do is it's going to be turning backwards in a backwards motion, and it's just going to be sharpening that blade, so that way when you do go forward and you tighten it back, you'll be straight. So now you'll see my bed to real knife contact is off now because it's too far away from each other. I widened up that gap versus when I tighten it, my bed to real knife contact is essentially like a knife, or it's like a pair of scissors instead of that rotary that spins in a circle, if that makes sense. So what I'm gonna do is you're gonna need your grit paper. You're gonna need yourself. Some people have long ones, but this is all I got, so I'll make it work. I ain't trying to spend a whole bunch of money on something that's gonna get tore up anyways. And what you will do is you're gonna get yourself, let me get it, a drill, and it has 18, the bit on here is a size 18, right? And there is a piece on the side of this. And what you're gonna do is you're just gonna stick that thing in there, and you want this thing to go backwards. That's why it's called backlapping, right? All right, so here's where we are. And what I want my thing to do is I want to go backwards in a backwards motion. That's why it's called backlapping, right? What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open up my grit paper. I mean my grit sand, which is what helps me sand this. Let me cut my light back on. And just so you know, I did this about a week ago. Or no, I'm sorry. I did this about 2 or 3 weeks ago. And you don't have to do this all the time, but I just wanted to be as sharp as possible, so that way what'll happen is I won't be messing up my grass. Having my grass with a unclean cut or opening my grass up to getting disease. That's what happens when you don't have a clean cut. But let's get into it. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna get yourself a little bit of that paste, right? Or that compound, and you're gonna apply a little of that to it in a backwards motion. And you want to hear that sandpaper-like contact. That's what you want to hear. And I can put a whole bunch on there because I got a whole bunch of it. So I'm putting that thing on there. Making sure and you want to do that until you stop hearing that sandy like grinding, and that'll let you know that compound has kind of been like worn off of the blade. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just let it run for about a good 15-20 seconds. You hear that sandpaper like. So it's still on there, but what I'm gonna be doing now is I'm gonna set it up over here, and I'm just gonna rinse that compound off of the reel. And I'm gonna lift them up. I'm gonna lift them up, kick them back, all right? And I'm gonna bring my water hose over here. And I'm gonna just rinse that stuff off, all right? That compound on there. So you just wanna make sure you're getting all of it off. Some people say it's hard to get off, but I can't tell. Let me make sure I'm not blocking y'all. I want to rinse all that compound off of there, all right? So that way when I go and I'm going forward and I tighten my bed to real knife contact, I won't have any issues, if that makes sense. I loosened it to sharpen it very little, like 1 or 2 notches. Because I really just want to have that nice bed to real knife contact, a little tongue twister. It's not like I'm trying to do a whole bunch to my blade. I did get this thing, of course, as you know, used. You get this on the secondary market through people who sell them. These were once used on golf courses, or still are used on golf courses, but this one is a little bit older. And they say that I think it's every 2 to 3 years, you're supposed to get this thing professionally sharpened. I do want to actually get this one sharpened because I noticed that I'm having an issue with one side of mine. No matter how much I've sharpened this thing, it doesn't cut on every single blade. And this one is a 14 blade reel mower. So my highest height of cut is a 1/2 inch, which I'm at. Next year when I level a little bit more, I do plan on going down to about, I don't know, 0.25, 0.35, somewhere in there. But for now, we rocking out at a 1/2 inch. So I'll rinse it off. And once you rinse it off, you're gonna dry it off because you want to have a dry surface, so you make sure that paper is coming in contact with your reel correctly without being wet. Oh my goodness. All right, we good. All right, good. I want to make sure y'all can see me. So let me move y'all over here. All right, then. All right, we good there. So now what I'm gonna do is dry it off. All right. So we good. Now that I dried it off, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tighten up my bed to real knife contact again. So that way I can make sure I'm at the proper distance in between my bed, my reel, and my bed knife. And for those of you who don't know, I explained it. That bed knife is here, and then your reel is there, and you have your 2 notches up top. And what you'll do is you'll come back, and instead of turning your thing left, you will turn it now right to tighten it. And what that would do is instead of it bringing it apart, it'll bring it closer. That makes sense. More than enough. So I'm gonna do 1 notch first. So we're gonna do 1 notch. Boom. So there we go. So what we're gonna attempt is, let me see if y'all can see me. So we're gonna attempt to cut paper. And if we cut paper all the way across, which I know we'll lag on one side because my reel is a little messed up on one side. I think it has a nick in a couple of blades, so it won't cut 100%. I do need to find a place here locally that'll sharpen it professionally, because I'm not gonna do that on my own. These things too expensive. But this is what you'll do. You're gonna go through. You see, I don't cut here. So, and what I probably need to do is tighten it. So let me tighten it one more. Yeah, one more. Okay. So now we're gonna try to cut paper. So we cutting all the way across, Mom. Okay, we cutting there. We cutting there. And you should cut. Okay, there we go. And what you should see is, okay, in the middle, it's not cutting. So let me try to tighten one side and see if the middle changes. So I'm gonna tighten that side. Sounds too tight. Yeah, you don't want it to rub too much, your bed to real knife. You don't want those things to rub too much. You want it to be a nice slice. If you hear too much contact, then you know something is off. Okay, so let me get that out of the paper. Okay, now we cut. My goodness, I think it's because my blade is slightly wet. Okay, we cut. There we go, we cutting now. Yep. There we go. Yep. So all across your blade, if like I said, I won't cut here because I think it's just dull over here. It needs to be professionally sharpened on this side. I don't know exactly why. I think I got it and it was a little dull on this edge, so I'm not too much worried about here. I really want the remainder of the blade to be sharp. You see, so this is my side that's like a little off, but as you can see, I'm cutting paper everywhere else, and I'm gonna tighten it just to double check if I can get a cleaner cut. So I'm gonna tighten each side, and that'll let me know if I need to keep it where I had it or keep it here. Okay. Sounds too tight. Sounds too tight, but it cuts clean. I don't know. Ooh-wee. That boy cutting. Yeah, I think I'm gonna keep it here. It cuts pretty smooth. No. Tight, man. All right, we're gonna loosen it one, and we're gonna cut from here. Now let's see. No. Yeah, let me keep it here. It sounds good. It cuts paper all the way across now. So that's how you do it. I do need to get this thing professionally sharpened. So I'm gonna see if I can find a golf course that's around me and see if someone professionally sharpens these things. But that's exactly how you do it. This thing is super simple. I think once you get used to doing this whole process, what'll happen is this will become a 10 to 15 minute process. It doesn't take long. I think what it is for a lot of people is, I think what happens for most people is they get in this intimidation factor of it's too hard because this thing is big, and you're so used to having a rotary mower. And the rotary mower, you just swap the blade out and you're good to go. But I think when you get a real mower, it'll take your lawn care to the next level, because that's what's happened with me. I was using a rotary mower trying to cut at an inch or 1.25, whatever it was, and I was getting halos all over my yard. So now that I got this real mower and I'm constantly learning, I wanted to pop out a video and try to help somebody with this entire process of learning how to do a real mower for someone who might not have no experience. I learned how to cut my yard all on my own, watching YouTube videos, trial and error, and every day I'm still learning about this real mower. So if you like more content like this, real mower stuff, lawn care stuff, I am trying to start my own lawn care business. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. God bless y'all.